Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I apologize for being a little bit late. Welcome to the Downtown Design Commission for April 17th, 2014. Paula, we're on record, right? Okay. Our first items of business are to turn off our phones. It's always my personal reminder. And we need our roll call. So, sorry, I couldn't get it together.
Betsy Brunstetter.
Present.
Gigi Faulkner. Charles Ainsworth.
Present.
Ike Aikenwande.
Present.
Connie Scothorn. Richard Tannenbaum. You have a quorum.
Great. Okay. I assume that everyone has read the minutes. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we've got a Faulkner Ike motion. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. There are no cases withdrawn. There is one continuance request which I need to recuse myself from. Any questions on that, or do you have a motion for the continuance?
Second.
Okay, that was an Ike and Gigi motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The continuance requests are approved. There are no items on the consent docket. We have one case for individual consideration. Will the applicant come forward, state your name, write it on the little piece of paper in front of you, and we will move on.
Paul Lefevre, 522 Cole Court, and representing the applicant. I do have two handouts, if you allow me to. With me today, the proposed operator of this food truck court that we're proposing. His name is Hunter Wheat. His father, Bill Wheat, is also here. And the architect and designer of the project, Chris Teehee, is here and will be able to speak in just a moment. What we're proposing here is a food truck court at Northwest 10th and Harvey Avenue. Food truck courts have gained considerable popularity nationwide in recent years, but we believe this will be the first one proposed for Oklahoma City. It will provide a seasonal outdoor venue for all ages to enjoy the dynamic growth of the Midtown and downtown areas. The property in question is located within the downtown business district and is properly zoned for the proposed use. The property owner, the Midtown Renaissance Group, owns not only this property but numerous others in this immediate area. The property owner has agreed to lease the property to Mr. Wheat for a 3-year term. They have been very emphatic that their development plans for the site do not allow a longer term than that. So we are working within a set of parameters here to design an attractive and functional set of improvements that can be amortized over a 3-year term. I believe that the project architect, Chris Teehee, and the civil engineer, Tim Johnson, on the project have done, in my mind, a remarkable job of putting together a very attractive design that's been well thought out. And if the experience of Dallas and Fort Worth as to the popularity of food truck courts is any indicator, this may be very, very popular here in Oklahoma City. Now, Chris Teehee has a PowerPoint presentation, if you'd like to see it, walk through his design and proposed materials. And if you'd like, I'll turn that over to him at this time.
I would like that. Anybody? Yeah, I would like that.
Right.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Chris Teehee, 2324 Tall Oaks Trail, Edmond. Let me sign this real quick. Thank you. I'll just kind of walk you through the slides here. They kind of pertain and reference back to the drawings. As you see, you have all the floor plans, site plans to each structure. So we'll just kind of walk through as we're, say, entering the facility. As you, say, approach 10th Street, our main entrances are off of 10th Street. This would be kind of the main structure for each entry and exit gate, and also sliding, which we've worked with the city on kind of the spacing that is required for each. So this would kind of be the main structure, steel structure, wood slat. This would be at the main entrance, just to propose something. And since this is going to be a temporary structure, we're trying to do where we can, not doing permanent walkway, stuff like that. So if we can implement pavers set in a crushed screening, obviously make it very ADA compliant to each structure. This would be, again, at the main entrances and exits. And if, like I said, if you refer to the site plan, you can kind of see where that is off of 10th Street. We really were encouraged to engage pedestrians not only along 10th Street, but Harvey as well. Those are our two frontage streets. So what we've done, we have a 10-foot build to line off of each of those streets. So what we've done is there's two covered seating areas that we've pulled back off the street within the 10 feet, and we've proposed these benches along each street frontage, so you could see to not only sit down in front of the facility, but also you can also see into the facility through these gates, through the fences, and through the structures themselves. The landscaping, it's been minimal, but like I said, we haven't gone through the whole city on exactly what our landscape points were, but I've done a kind of a low maintenance along both street frontages. In between kind of the benches, we would have red yuccas along the street frontage to allow some greenery and some color during the season. And then also there's two corner lots, or two corners, the southeast and southwest, that would have towering green tower boxwoods. So we do have some, like I said, landscaped areas along those street frontages. We just minimal landscape lighting. Again, since this is a leased for a temporary site, we're trying not to do the most that we need, but still make it attractive, because I know that the owner will want to make these street frontages appealing, because this is his property, and also not only for him, but for Hunter as well, to be successful in what we're proposing. Again, here's the wood fencing. We're looking at just a simple structure, 4 foot high. Again, horizontal space to the code's specification. This is something that we're proposing too, where it's mainly all out in the seating area, where we would give a product to the one I found is the NDS Pro. It's an underlayment that not only stabilizes crushed screens, crushed granite, to make it a hard surface once it's compacted, but it allows for water drainage and stuff like that, just so this is something that we can kind of create to where we're not having to pour thousands feet of concrete. So this is an alternative for just the area that would be, say, underneath the picnic areas, tables and stuff like that. We do have proposed, excuse me, where the trucks drive in, the restrooms, the park, not the parking, the the exits, obviously the main entry and exit, more pavers, but all those be concrete, but then more of the pathways, sitting areas, this would be the alternative for concrete. Within the covered structures, you can refer to a couple of sheets. I think it's A1.1, sorry about that. Yes, 1.1 and 1.2 with the covered structures, you can kind of see the elevations that we're looking at. Also, Hunter and Paul handed you out that I just did a quick rendering. Since these elevations are over the whole site, it's kind of hard to see, but what we're trying to achieve is, as pedestrians are walking, or even if driving by, which I don't want to say that driving by, we wanted people to engage the space. It's unique. I mean, people are going to really probably turn their heads at this, so in between kind of alternating along these structures, we're going to propose a cable system that, I mean, obviously it contains a person inside and outside, you just can't walk through it, but it allows total visual into the space and out, so you can see what's going on, interact, and again, the benches are right outside of these on the street from 10th and Harvey, so there's a lot of engagement through the cable, allowing visual through that.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
On that? So your structures are the areas, like on 10th Street, the areas between the pavers is a structure, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you, on the 10th Street side, you have alternating wood panels and the cable
Correct.
panels. Okay, and you do that also on the...
The Harvey is, yes, correct. Along that covered
Okay.
seating area, it alternates in between each one of those columns, the wood slat and then the cable, so it's just a continuous pattern. So obviously it gives you some shade, some visual blockage or buffer, if you will, and then total visual into the space itself.
And then on the park side, let's say, of those structures, that's just completely open with the columns?
No, this is a completely fenced-in structure.
Okay.
It will have the detail that refers back to the fence. Where'd that go? But there's a 4-foot fence that would be all along from the corner of the restroom facility all the way to the west and then all the way to the south. So it has a 4-foot horizontal slat wood fence.
Right. I'm actually just kind of focusing on the two structures that are on Harvey
Okay.
and on 10th Street. And I'm just talking about the area on the north side of the 10th Street structure. And I may totally misunderstand this drawing. You said you had a rendering of the space?
Yes, I believe he handed that out with that.
Oh, but not a three-dimensional.
Oh, no, I do not.
Okay. So it looks on this drawing like there is a rectangular structure next to the fence on 10th Street and a rectangular structure next to the fence on Harvey. And then there's this shade canopy structure.
Correct.
Okay. So on the north side of the rectangle, it's just open to the shade canopy.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Yes, the two covered seating basically are, those buildings are acting obviously as the fence or gate. Again, we kind of put those buildings along those two frontages because, again, we really wanted to address the street frontages with aesthetics and flow for pedestrians. So that's why we kind of made those, if you will, the gate and fence themselves instead of having just a 4-foot fence going around that. So that was purely for aesthetics along the two frontages. The restroom and beverage station building, which is, obviously you can locate where the beverages are, the restroom areas, which is in the northeast corner of the property. We're proposing to do the fiber or hardy cementitious board and trim for these structures. Again, since it was more of a temporary thing, we feel like we are providing something pretty substantial for that time frame. We are wanting to obviously make it as pleasing and aesthetically pleasing as possible, obviously with your guys' blessing. So we've been working back and forth with materials, but I think this is a material that not only looks attractive, it's durable, and it's cost-effective for the owner as well. These are the proposed style of lights that would be on the exterior of the restrooms along Harvey and Park Place on the building. On the Harvey side, if you refer to the elevation that's on sheet A2.1, we're proposing to do, we're calling it wall art, if you will, but having some buffaloes cut out of plate steel attached to the building, and then also his logo of Blue Garten, also out of plate steel and mounted onto the structure to give it some rustic feel. So we'd have that rust look of the buffalo that you see here. I think it would work well with the colors, but I don't know, I like buffaloes. It would look at just a neat detail, I think. That was Hunter's idea. Again, this is a material that we've got an idea of. Again, since this is mainly all exterior, I know we have a lot of wood that would be for the structures and the fence, which we can make those out of cedar or redwood, something like that. That's it's a weatherability issue, but also there's a couple of areas that have, say, beverage stations that you'd walk up to, and something that's going to be attractive and also is going to stand up with our weather there. So I'm looking at some type of metal fascia that would be around the watering trough, which is, if you're looking at the site plan, there's two circles that are on the site plan. One is obviously the gas fire pit. The other is where you could walk up and get beverages, bottled waters, canned beers, something like that out of, say, a trough. So that needs to be something that would be pretty weatherable. So a hard surface granite, something on the countertop, and then the metal fascia on it. There's a couple of ideas that we have that for the actual material itself, something perforated that maybe we could put something behind it to really seal it off that would basically be a weather-tight product that, again, would last for the 3 years while Hunter is operating this facility. The fire pit area, it would be a gas fire pit. Obviously, I'm looking for something pretty substantial, something pretty large, so it might have to be a custom made that obviously you can't, I mean, if you're going to have a fire pit, you need it somewhat big, so a portion of people could stand around it. But identical to this, a smooth finish, Colorado round rocks in the middle, gas, and then obviously you see around the fire pit, again, there's a detail on that that would allow quite a bit of seating around that. Which that details on sheet A1.4. You can kind of see the elevation of the surround seating of that. Again, this is just a picture of a typical picnic bench. Again, we would have to alter and provide ADA seating, so some of these in designated areas that we would say that obviously this is for the ADA seating, we would obviously remove or custom make some of the benches so they could just roll up and have their own seating in those areas. The proposed canopy structure, this is something that we're still kind of working on. Again, it might be a cost issue just because it's such a large structure, but obviously in Oklahoma City, I mean, in the midsummer, there's a lot of heat. We would like to provide some type of shade if this is something that we just can't get by cost effectively. We're looking at just having umbrellas at each table. So, but we wanted to show you guys this just in case you guys had any questions about this. But we are working with a manufacturer on samples and kind of actually how much this will cost for something like that. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. We're not real, like I said, sold on this idea yet because we really haven't seen any hard numbers yet. But that was the end of the slides. I wanted to kind of get through those quick. If you want to walk through the drawings or have any questions for me.
Any question? Connie, I bet you do. No? I had one question while Connie's getting all ready.
Yes.
You mentioned benches along the streets, and I'm not, other than a bus bench, I'm not seeing the benches on your site plan?
If you look at like A02,
I am.
okay, see where...
Oh, it says sidewalk benches.
Yeah, there you go. See, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 benches in front of the structure that's on the 10th Street. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 along Harvey in front of that structure.
Okay.
It's-
They're very thin.
They're actually about 18, 20 inches
Okay.
wide.
Okay.
At that scale, it's so hard to see.
Yeah, okay. Connie?
Yeah, I think this is so much fun. I'm so excited. I can't wait for you to open.
It's an exciting project.
I do have a couple questions, and I think you probably know the answers to them. Parking? Is it?
Within the DBD, it's not required for parking. We do have to have a cross-access agreement with the adjacent properties that we have to provide to the city once we get our permit, so...
Okay. I think I see the answer, but I'm not sure. Is there going to be electric power for the trucks so they can
Yes,
plug right in?
correct.
There won't be the noise?
Yes, correct. That's Hunter's idea, so we can cut down on the noise. If you can see them, they're located right in between the last two trucks, the middle trucks, and then at the end, and they will have to obviously stand on towers, power poles, not power poles, but and then we'll provide a screening in front of that just for visual, so if the trucks aren't there and they are having a function, you just don't see the power, the electric over there, just to protect people from going over there and touching them, so.
So the trucks won't even be on? They'll
No,
be-
they will not have the generator running, so that's going to cut down on a lot of noise.
Great. And then what hours are you going to be open? Do you know
I
that?
think that might be more directed towards Hunter.
My name's Hunter Wheat. We're planning on being open from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. We've been working with some sound engineers. Kenny Phillips, who does New Year's Eve party in the Mirrored Gardens, he's shown some specific speakers that carry low audibles, and the local residents around us are also landlorded by the Midtown Renaissance Group. We're going to be going into those apartments and have already contacted some of the tenants to make sure that we're not leaking any noise into those apartments. This is more of a community congregation place than it is like a party or anything, so we're pretty confident that we can test out and make sure that this is going to be a place where people go to just congregate and visit with each other more than it is.
So 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.,
2 a.m.
2 a.m., whoa. 7 days a week?
The hours will fluctuate throughout the week, but we do believe that we can be open 7 days a week. Like on Monday, we have plans to cut it down to 2 food trucks and maybe do like a movie night, and the 2 food trucks would work more as concession. And through the week, we'll do stuff like that to keep it relevant.
What about lighting?
Lighting?
Yeah, are you guys going to provide any additional besides what we see on the walls? And
Yeah, we plan to have some Edison bulbs, like Christmas lights, kind of stringing through. They're pretty low wattage, so we're not going to be leaking into the local apartments either with that.
There is, as you can see, kind of by this last truck on the very south end, there's a large There's a large billboard there, and then also that's around, not the fire pit circle, about the watering trough circle. There's 2 very large billboards there that stand 40 feet in the air. So again, if the shade structure doesn't work, that's where we're looking at maybe looping some of these Thomas Edison light bulbs kind of from there to the structures, and kind of that's how we kind of create that ambience of light throughout the sitting area for that.
Any other questions from the committee?
I would just say, I think you're using amazingly nice quality materials for a 3-year period of time, and yet I would really encourage you to do that shade structure instead of umbrellas. I think there'd just be a huge difference. And
we're very hopeful on getting that done.
if you do make a change, that comes back to Scotty, is that right, for approval or not?
Something that minor could come back to me. If you would like to see it come back to you, we can always do that also.
Yeah, I think if you change that, I think I'd like to see it, because I think that'll make a real big difference. That's a fun project.
Jack? Or
Well, I mean, this is probably not our purview, although I'm kind of a resident in the area, and I think it's a very cool concept. I guess my concerns are more operational, trash, lighting, noise, parking, is that parking structure is it St. Anthony's right across the street?
Oh, no,
Structured
that's
parking?
Mickey's. That's that red one?
No, the one on the traffic circle right here, right?
Actually, no, it's on Harvey. So it's, I was thinking it was there too. It's actually down East Street.
It's just,
It's not on Hudson, it's on Harvey.
Well, I guess
Just
my
west of
question is, if you
Fenton Hall.
guys talk to the neighbors, if run properly, I think this is a great idea, but if run improperly, I think it could be a nightmare for the neighbors. And that's my concern. I think the design's great. I think the concept's great. I think it's a fun idea.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be all about the management and how you manage the thing.
Absolutely. We have already contacted some of the local, directly to us, we have some apartment buildings. We've talked to some tenants there, and they've expressed a lot of excitement, and they're willing to let us go into their apartments and do some testing to make sure that we're not going to be disturbing them. This is kind of the start for me being in the captain's seat, and this being a 3-year deal, it's not really going to behoove me to go and burn a lot of bridges. I want, at the end of 3 years, for everyone to think of this as a victory rather than I can't wait for this to be over, because this is the start for me, not the end by any means. So as far as the trash, we definitely plan to have a lot of recyclables, and we have a trash dumpster on the west side, the west-north side of that. But yeah, definitely running this with public safety and not being a nuisance to the neighbors is a high priority in the management of this operation.
I'm just curious, this is operational too, but do you have a maximum occupancy?
We have not visited with the fire marshal as of yet. On estimation with other restaurants and venues like this, we are estimating approximately 350. That number could vary as we dive in deeper with the fire marshal, but that's kind of where I'm guessing.
And you plan live music?
Because of the nature of the venue being outdoors, if we do any type of live music, it would be every couple of months, every month, and we would have to get city permits for that. It's not like I said, this isn't really a bar where people go to parties, so it would be more of live local acoustical that's not going to be too disruptive to the neighbors.
It's not going to require a staging area? You don't have that?
If we did it, we would just pretty much makeshift.
An area?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I like that concept, actually. I love the concept, and I think it's very well laid out. I love it. I would really encourage the shade. I think that'll make a difference personally in people wanting to come and stay there and
Absolutely.
and buy food, and it's just huge in Oklahoma. It's huge. I would really encourage that. It is part of the plan that you're submitting, and I'd really like to approve it with that.
Yeah, I've traveled the country visiting other food truck parks, and of course, we've been planning this for about a year, and kind of the consensus with a lot of them are you either want to provide a lot of shading or you want to be in a venue that has a lot of trees. We don't have the trees, so we're trying to do as much as we can with the shading.
At this point, I'd like to ask if there's anyone else in the gallery that would like to speak to this.
I'm Allison Bailey. I live at 216 Northwest 20th Street. I would like to echo all of your positive remarks about this project. I manage and operate the holiday pop-up shops in Midtown. In my experience from last year, the businesses that have a temporary sales point in Midtown, after that's over, want to consider a permanent sales point. So I think this could be a really good economic development project for Midtown. Temporary projects like this have activated areas in other cities, and it creates a demand for retail. So when permanent development is going to occur on this property, I think that a higher quality of development will be demanded after this is over. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions? Do we want to make a motion? Do we have any concerns, Scotty?
We don't have any concerns, and we recommend approval.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Okay, I'll do Chuck this time. Got a second?
Second.
And Ike. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations. We're looking forward to seeing your project.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing it.
Thank you very much.
So, to move on, we have no other business. We have the administrative approvals report. Any significant projects on this that we need to discuss?
Lots of Go Thunder.
Go Thunder.
There is a kind of interesting project. It's item number 9 for DTCA 14-00020, and that address has been put in there incorrectly, probably by moi. It should be 10 Northwest 6th Street, and that's the Oklahoma Geological Society. They've taken one of the old warehouse buildings, and they're refurbishing it to retain the appearance, but they're putting in the Geological Society will be officing there.
It might be good for all of us to take a look at those elevations through the agenda, right? We can do that still, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And they have a nice graphic wall sign that they're proposing also.
You know, one thing I meant to mention to him, and Scotty, if you wouldn't mind mentioning this to him, I found out through just, I guess, an error that any project that has any art that's facing the street has to go to the Arts Commission. And does he know that?
He will.
Because that will...
We were calling it part of the sign, but it really is wall art, and it really needs to go to the committee.
Yeah, and it's not a painful thing at all. I went through it, but I don't want him to get stopped somewhere along the way.
Yeah. Well, I will make sure that they get to the Arts Commission before they get to the point where that's going to be installed. That's probably one of the last things they will do, and so.
Well, the application, I mean, just like all of our applications does take, you have to prepare the application. There is a bit of work in the preparation of the application and then getting it in, so we don't want him.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Right. And I really don't think they will have any... I'm not being mean to him. I'm just asking him for the normal, typical stuff that we give everybody else.
Okay.
I mean, since he's not taking me to Europe with him, he's,
Too bad. Okay, so any other projects that you feel like we need to take a look at?
I think that's about it.
Okay. Any other comments from the commission? Probably in Cabo, don't you think?
I think he was in Cabo, isn't he in Cabo?
Scotty, what can we expect for next month?
We have at least one case.
Which is?
Yours?
Okay, so that's the only one right now?
No, we have another one, which escapes me right now. I'll send you an email. Oh, that's right, yours, yeah. And we have one other one.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
just the signage for the apartment. Oh, good.
We have a
Okay, that's always
demolition, yeah,
fun.
it's a demolition request for Leo's Barbecue.
Oh, over
That's
on
that's,
that Angled
yeah,
Street, whatever. that is.
Harrison, yeah. And then we have another development that's still pending, documentation for other development in that area also.
Ooh, exciting. I hope it includes
Yeah.
retail.
Yeah. Yeah, give him that look.
Oh.
I mean, it's like a chicken crossing the road. You've seen that? There's so much.
Oh, I've been to Leo's there.
It's moved. They're wanting to get downtown, going home.
Okay. No other comments? We are adjourned.